Alessandro sat at his desk in an elegant office in the heart of Bologna. The large windows let in the afternoon light, illuminating the models of buildings scattered on shelves and tables, silent witnesses to his successful career as an architect. That day had started like any other, with meetings and projects to review. But the arrival of a young woman for an interview would change everything. Before continuing, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell. Laura had always been an ambitious girl, growing up with the dream of becoming a successful architect. Born and raised in Bologna, the city had inspired her since childhood. Its alleys, squares, and great historical structures had fueled her imagination. Not a day went by that Laura didn't fantasize about how she could redesign those places, keeping their charm intact but with her own creative imprint. Her passion for architecture was nurtured and encouraged above all by her mother, Giulia, a strong, enterprising, and wise woman who never stopped believing in her daughter's potential. Since she was a child, Laura remembered how her mother took her to visit the most iconic monuments of the city, explaining the history and curiosities behind every brick, every arch, and every column. Her father, Luca, was a quiet man, busy with work, but he always found time to support his daughter's dreams. The pride he felt for Laura was evident in every gesture, in every word of encouragement he offered her. When Giulia became seriously ill, the family was overwhelmed with grief. Her mother's illness was a huge blow to Laura, who found herself facing one of the most difficult moments of her life. Yet, even on the worst days, her mother never stopped encouraging her, reminding her that her talent would take her far. Shortly before she died, Giulia gave Laura a gold ring, a simple but meaningful jewel. "Always carry it with you," she told her in a faint voice. "It will give you strength when you need it most." From that day on, the ring never left Laura's finger, becoming her unbreakable bond with her mother. As time passed, Laura devoted herself body and soul to her studies, pursuing her dream of becoming an architect. The loss of her mother motivated her even more, as if she wanted to honor her memory with every small achievement. After graduating in architecture, she began looking for work in various studios in the city, hoping to find a chance to prove herself. One day, the opportunity she was waiting for came, an interview in one of the most prestigious studios in Bologna, Alessandro Gianni's studio. It was a unique opportunity, but also a challenge that made her feel tense and insecure. That morning, Laura woke up with a strange feeling in her stomach, a combination of anxiety and determination. She prepared herself carefully, wearing her best gray suit, gathered her hair in a neat braid, and, before leaving, caressed the gold ring on her finger, as she had done on so many other important occasions. She repeated her mother's words to herself and, with a deep breath, left the house. When she arrived at Alessandro's office, she found herself facing a line of other candidates. They all seemed confident, with experience and impeccable resumes. Laura tried to stay calm, but she felt her heart beating hard in her chest. While she waited her turn, time seemed to dilate, and her mind went back to the happy days with her mother, to the advice she gave her, and the strength she transmitted to her. Finally, she was called for the interview. With a mixture of anxiety and determination, Laura stood up and headed towards Alessandro's office. The corridor seemed endless. The sound of her footsteps echoed, as if to underline the importance of the moment. When she entered, she was struck by the refined and orderly environment of the office. The walls were adorned with plans and models of buildings, and every corner conveyed a sense of precision and professionalism. Alessandro, a middle-aged man with slightly graying hair and an attentive gaze, greeted her with a smile that immediately put her a little more at ease. The interview began with the usual formal questions about her academic experiences and aspirations. Despite the tension, Laura spoke passionately about her love for architecture, explaining how she wanted to contribute to changing the urban landscape, paying homage to tradition but with an eye to the future. Alessandro listened attentively, struck by the young woman's sincerity and enthusiasm. As the conversation continued, the atmosphere became more relaxed. Alessandro realized that, although Laura had little practical experience, her dedication and desire to learn were rare and precious qualities. After a long chat, Alessandro took an unexpected step. He told her that he had gotten the job. Laura couldn't believe her ears. A mixture of relief, gratitude, and disbelief took hold of her. She thanked Alessandro sincerely, her heart beating fast with emotion. But as she was getting ready to leave the office, Alessandro noticed something that changed everything. His gaze fell on the gold ring that Laura wore on her finger. Her expression suddenly changed from a satisfied smile to one of surprise and amazement. In a calm voice but visibly impressed, Alessandro asked her where the ring had come from. Laura, still elated by the news she had just received, told him that it was a gift from her mother, an object to which she was deeply attached, and that represented for her the only remaining link with the woman who had raised and loved her. Alessandro remained silent for a moment, then, with trembling hands, he took an identical ring out of the drawer. The silence that followed was tense. Laura stared at him in disbelief, her heart beating faster and faster. Alessandro, with a surprised expression, asked her what his mother's name was. When Laura answered, Alessandro had confirmation that it was not a simple coincidence. With an emotional voice, Alessandro began to tell a story that seemed to come from a novel. Alessandro's father, many years before, had made 2 gold rings for his children. Alessandro revealed to her that Giulia was actually his sister. When their parents died in a tragic accident, Alessandro and Giulia were separated and sent to different families, losing all contact. Alessandro's words left Laura breathless. Her mind was trying to piece together a story she had never known. It was as if everything was falling into place, but at the same time, her entire vision of the world was being turned upside down. Laura thus discovered that the man in front of her was her uncle, and that ring, which she had always considered a simple memory of her mother, was in reality the symbol of a much deeper family bond. The hours passed quickly as Alessandro and Laura talked about her mother, sharing memories and details of their lives. Laura told Alessandro everything she knew about his mother, her successes, and the great love she had always received from her adoptive family. She showed photos on her cell phone, and Alessandro looked at them with a mixture of sadness and joy, happy to have found a part of himself, even if it was too late to hug his sister again. Alessandro told Laura about his life, his successes, and his family. He discovered that he had 2 cousins he had never met. The discovery filled her with a strange joy. She had lost her mother, but now she had found a new family, ready to welcome her with open arms. As time passed, Alessandro and Laura continued to build their family bond, and Laura distinguished herself in the new studio. Their meeting had changed both of their lives, revealing that sometimes, even in the most unexpected moments, life can surprise us in extraordinary ways. Did you like this story? Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching the video till the end, and see you next story.